Hello everybody, I am Gratton and today I'm back with a brand new video. Today we're talking about Doctor Who, The Runaway, which is a new VR game for the Doctor Who universe starring Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. I thought I'd give my opinions on this. It was announced a few months ago, but now we've got our first trailer, synopsis, breakdown of exactly what it's going to be, what it'll entail. So I thought today I'd give a bit of a discussion about it, talk about it a little bit, and just kind of give my overall thoughts on it. And again, before I start, even though it's Jodie Whittaker, even though it's the 13th Doctor's TARDIS, we're not even going to be discussing Series 11 or anything like that, because I know the comment section will go there. This is just about the game, because I'm interested in talking about the world of Doctor Who and gaming, and where they've collided in the past, where they'll collide in the future, and just how I feel about this general project as a whole. So starting with Doctor Who in video game history, obviously you've got Destiny of the Doctor, which is like a years-old one, starring Anthony Ainley as the Master, but more recent sort of new Who stuff, you've got the adventure games, which is a very key one, which is one that fans look to, and I think that's probably one of the best examples. Some of the web flash games from like 2006, 2007, those were brilliant. And I think some of the best Doctor Who games have had to offer. You had the Top Trumps game from Series 3, which was just Doctor Who Top Trumps, but on a video game, because Doctor Who and money. We also had Doctor Who Legacy, which was a bit like a sort of Candy Crush type thing. I'm trying to think what else you had. You had the sort of like Professor Layton mystery game spin-off for the DS. The Wii game, where you had Sonic Screwdriver Wii controller. That was terrible, by the way. I did play it when I was younger, and it was abysmal at best. And now we've got this, The Runaway, an exclusive sort of first experience type thing. 13 minutes it's going to be. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what it is the 13th Doctor in a TARDIS. I'm going to try and I'll read the synopsis for you, so we can kind of go through that together. You've been in a collision. You wake inside the TARDIS. The Doctor introduces you to the person or thing you collided with. He's a strange and magnificent ball of living energy called Volta. Part surly teenager, part bomb. Volta is very unstable. In fact, he's primed to explode. Big time. Unless he can be returned to his home planet Sharpish. That's not the name of the planet, by the way. That is just describing how we're going to get him there. I did just realise that upon rereading. The problem is, a squad of galactic busybodies has other plans for Volta, bad ones. Drawn into a frantic chase, you become the Doctor's unlikely assistant as she races against time to get the Volta back to his parents. Armed with a sonic screwdriver, it is down to you to help the Doctor as she faces the forces of evil and teenage angst in this 13-minute VR adventure from the team behind Doctor Who Series 11. Again, and I will get onto this, any other video game that isn't VR, I think story is absolutely 100% the main priority. Besides graphics and general sort of aesthetic look, story's 100% down to it. With the VR game, I couldn't care less what the story is, and I'll tell you why. When you have a VR headset on, and you've got the sort of controllers and you're doing stuff, VR games are about the experience, putting you into a world, literally, and you are a character, you are, you know, acting and confronting with different things. A Doctor Who VR game is a brilliant idea. It's been done a couple of times before by fans in the Steam Home Workshop thing, because I feel like I've got this as well. It's sort of like a Steam homepage. You can set your home to be the Capaldi TARDIS, and you can, you know, flick all the levers and all that sort of thing, and it makes noises and does stuff. I've covered it on the channel, so if you want to go and watch that. It's a brilliant experience. Very, very fun, because you feel like you're flying the TARDIS, but you're not actually, because you're not actually doing anything. So yeah, it is moderately fun in that sense. There's also a fan-made project, which I hopefully will cover on the channel this year, which is like a sort of Matt Smith TARDIS, and you can flick all the buttons, and you can go through the corridors, and you can see the Eye of Harmony, you can confront yourself with a Dalek. It's not a video game. Neither of them are video games. They're experiences, but both of them give the same feeling of, hey, I'm inside the TARDIS, and I'm flicking things, and I feel like I'm doing stuff, even though you're not. The difference with this is, you will be doing stuff, because it's a story, it's an actual video game created by the BBC, meaning that the TARDIS will do stuff when you interact with it. Meaning that this will be the closest experience, despite being an actor and actually working on the TARDIS set, to actually flying the TARDIS. That's great. The closest you've ever got before this was probably the adventure games, where you had to like walk up to each panel and then click with your mouse. This is actually hands-on. You're going to hopefully have two controllers, because that's what VR tech does these days, with your headset, looking about, flicking levers, walking around the console. That's amazing. That's great. And I think Doctor Who lends itself perfectly to the world of VR in terms of, you know, the experience. And that's what I'm saying. It's not really about the story. The story can be whatever it wants. The story can be as cheesy or whatever as it wants. I don't care. It's about, for me, the experience you're going to get. You got a sonic screwdriver, it mentions, so you're going to be able to use a sonic, you're going to be able to use the TARDIS, fly that about. It may only be 13 minutes, yes, but it seems like a fun experience that anyone with a VR headset can enjoy. Now, I don't know which VR headsets this is coming to. I've mentioned before, if it comes to mixed reality, I'll cover it on the channel, but if not, then you'll have to see other playthroughs of it on YouTube, I presume. I don't think it's going to be a massive breakthrough, it's going to be a very basic game, but I think it'll do what it needs to do, and if it is successful in its sort of approach, it gets brought out, people play it, people enjoy it, I see them making another one, you know, maybe one per series. Maybe they'll make one for Series 12 and they'll have a couple of different characters in with it, you know. Maybe they'll do a different thing. Maybe they'll make it a little bit wilder, have a bit of Dalek or a Cyberman on that story. This is a unique, individual 13-minute story which is testing the abilities of this new game style in the world of Doctor Who. We've had so many different types of Doctor Who games. I've just listed loads there. Flash games, puzzle games, you know, adventure games. This is a VR game. It's the first of a kind for Doctor Who. And I really like that. And I'm really glad they're putting effort and time into not only making a new Doctor Who game, but making a Doctor Who game for VR. Perfect. Having Jodie Whittaker on board is always great. And I like what they've done with the visual style. I don't think... I think I would have been more annoyed if they tried to make it realistic. Because they try to do that with the adventure games. And as you saw with the adventure games... It's, you know, it's the BBC. They're not going to have a sort of full game company style budget. You know, it's not Red Dead. It's not GTA here. It's, you know, it's BBC. So absolutely, if you look back at the adventure games, the character models there are dated. They look, in some shots, horrific, in some cases terrifying. So the choice to go from sort of realism to cartoon, I think works really well. This looks a lot nicer than Dreamland did. Dreamland looks slightly, it was like slightly in the uncanny valley a little bit. This looks like it's got it bang on. The actual player model for Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, it doesn't look like Jodie, but it's got the costume, it's got the voice, it's got the general expressions, and I think that's more than enough, and that's all you need for a cartoon version of a 13-minute VR game, because the Doctor's not the priority, it's the TARDIS, and the TARDIS looks good. Yeah, again, it's a more cartoony version of the TARDIS, but you got that experience, you're flying the TARDIS, you know, all the same. I like it. It's a short, by the looks of it, a short, animated, fun little adventure. Now, I do have some downsides with it. I think there was one bit of dialogue. It's the second line that Jodie says, and it just kind of feels like the words don't quite fit in the character's mouth.
And destroy anyone or anything that threatens the stability of the universe.
Like the player model looks like it's going overtime to try and fit all those words in, and it almost reaches that thing where it just doesn't feel as realistic, and my worry is that it will pull you out of that, and I get quite worried with that sort of thing, especially when it comes to video games. But saying that, you know, it does look alright, and it looks basic, and it looks good, and it looks fun, and enjoyable, depending on the audience. Now, obviously, you're going to need a VR headset for that. That's you know, if you don't have one, that's, you know, bummer. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but looking at the tags on the actual video itself, it's got Doctor Who VR Oculus, so it's probably confirmed that it is going to be coming to the Oculus Rift. I can only cross my fingers that it'll come to Windows Mixed Reality, so then I can actually get a hands-on play of the game and show you guys on the channel, and give my overall thoughts on the final product, opposed to just the trailer and the basic description. Personally, I think it looks promising. I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular. I don't think it's going to be anything on the adventure games, or anything, you know, anything near the fun that the Flash games were back in like 2006, but I think it's going to be a unique, a new experience that could go on to be sort of successful string of individual little video games. I don't know if it's going to be free, I don't know if it's going to cost, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm very much looking forward to it though. I think they've put a decent amount of effort into this. There's obviously a new writing thing, Sega Nakanola's put together some new music for it, so yeah, count me in as excited. It looks alright, it looks good, and I'm actually looking forward to getting my hands on it and playing it, if that's possible. So yeah, tell me what you think about Doctor Who The Runaway, the VR game, in the comment section below. I'd love to read them, I'd love to see what you guys think about it. But yeah, in the meantime, that's pretty much it from me. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already with notifications on, because YouTube is a mess. Check out the Patreon page if you want to support the channel, absolutely optional, but there's loads of fun rewards and stuff on there. And check out the Discord server if you want to talk about Doctor Who and whatever for the rest of days until the end of time. That's, yes, fun. Right, thank you so much for watching, I'll see you all next time, have a lovely day. Bye bye!